Ready for a deep dive. This one's a little different. We're not going to be, like dissecting headlines or anything. We're cracking open a text. It's called, wait for it, A Course in Miracles.
And before you think we've gone completely off the deep end here, I promise this is really about exploring a whole new way of looking at things, a new way of thinking even.
I like that. Upgrading our mental software. So we're looking at excerpts today from the preface, the intro, and chapter 1 of A Course in Miracles. And it's not your typical self-help book, let me tell you. It's deep, makes you think, and has some really wild ideas about reality, forgiveness, even
Yeah.
what a miracle actually is.
And that's our mission today, really break these ideas down for you, especially if you're new to A Course in Miracles, with all its wonders.
All right, let's do it. So the preface, it opens with a line that's like, bam, hits you right between the eyes. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Whoa. Okay, help me out here. What does that even mean?
Right. Bold statement. It gets straight to the heart of what this whole Course in Miracles is trying to tell us. It's saying there are two kinds of reality. There's real, capital R, like the eternal, never-changing truth of God, or some people might say love.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
And then there's unreal, little u. That's
Yeah.
the world, the one we experience with our senses. Always changing, sometimes messy life, basically, with all its ups and downs.
So all the stuff that usually stresses us out, like deadlines, arguments, all that, that's all
Yeah.
unreal. I bet our listeners are like, hold on a second.
It's a big adjustment, yeah. It's not that these things don't exist in our experience, but A Course in Miracles wants us to look at them differently. Like, imagine a movie projector.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
So those images on the screen, they feel real, don't they, in the moment? But they're just projections, right? Just light. And A Course in Miracles says a lot of what we experience is kind of like that, a projection of our own thoughts, beliefs, even our fears.
So if we're always projecting fear or anxiety or judging everything, we're basically creating a world that throws that right back at us. My mind is kind of blown right now.
Powerful stuff, right? And that leads us to forgiveness, which is a whole other thing in A Course in Miracles. It's not about excusing actions or anything like that. It's more about correcting how we're seeing things, misperceptions.
Misperceptions. So seeing an enemy when really it's just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Or seeing lack when there's actually plenty all around.
Exactly. We project our own, baggage outward. But here's the real kicker. The most important person we need to forgive. Ourselves.
Really? Why ourselves?
Because that inner critic, that voice saying we're not good enough, not smart enough, that's a huge source of misperception right there.
Oh, I know that voice all too well.
We all do. And holding on to guilt, shame, self-doubt, it just warps how we see everything, ourselves and everyone else. A Course in Miracles says true forgiveness, it begins with letting go of all that, those limitations we put on ourselves.
Wow. So if we can start to forgive ourselves, see ourselves with more kindness, does that then change how we see other people too?
Totally. As we heal our own perceptions, forgiving ourselves, letting go of all that negative self-judgment, the way we see the world, it starts to shift too. We start noticing the good, the love, the miracles even, in us and everyone else, which, speaking of miracles...
Perfect timing, because chapter 1 is all about this. And I got to tell you, I love a good definition. Principle number 6 jumped out at me. Miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. Okay, now you've got my attention. Tell me more.
It's a good one, right? It kind of hints at how radically different A Course in Miracles thinks about what a miracle is. We usually think of them as supernatural, once-in-a-lifetime events.
Totally.
But A Course in Miracles is nope, flip that around. Miracles are actually natural. It's when they don't happen that something's off.
Okay, so what's gone wrong? Are we doing life wrong if we're not tripping over miracles every day?
Not exactly. Remember that whole thing about misperception? Well, A Course in Miracles suggests miracles are really these shifts in perception moments where we line up with that higher truth, that love that's always there, just underneath the surface.
So it's less about parting the Red Sea and more about
Right.
seeing the good in a tough situation.
Yeah.
Or feeling connected to someone we might have judged before.
Yeah, exactly. Principle 23 says it perfectly. Miracles rearrange perception and place all levels in true perspective. They're helping us see things from a different angle, one that isn't all clouded by fear or judgment.
So if we're always focused on what's wrong, what we're lacking, what we're afraid of,
Yeah.
are we kind of blocking those miracles from happening?
In a way, yeah. But the good news is A Course in Miracles says we're not on our own with this. It introduces this idea of the Holy Spirit, like our guide, our inner teacher, to help us tap into that miracle mindset.
Like the Holy Spirit. That might sound kind of...
Yeah.
Well, for people who aren't super religious, how does A Course in Miracles explain it?
Good question. It's not tied to any one religion, really. It presents the Holy Spirit as this inner wisdom, this voice of love and truth that anyone can access.
So like that little voice that tells us to be kind even when we want to, really let someone have it. That's the Holy
You
Spirit.
could think of it that way, that intuitive nudge towards forgiveness, understanding, choosing love, even when it's tough. And the more we listen to that voice, according to A Course in Miracles, the more those everyday miracles, those shifts in how we see things, they start showing up.
It's funny. We talk about wanting more peace, more joy in our lives. And A Course in Miracles seems to be saying, hey, it's right here. You're just like looking in the wrong spot.
Right. It's profound. We're always looking for happiness outside ourselves, achievements, stuff, relationships. But A Course in Miracles says, no, true peace, that deep down joy, it comes from within, from changing how we see things, cleaning the lens, so to speak.
Like we've been given this amazing telescope, can see incredible things with it, but we're too busy staring at our feet, haven't even looked up.
Exactly. And that's where the work comes in. Because changing how we see things, choosing love over fear, it's not always easy. Our ego, that conditioned mind, wants to keep us stuck in those old patterns, negativity, judgment, all that.
Oh, tell me about it. That inner critic can be so convincing. So how do we quiet that voice down? How do
Yeah.
we actually start choosing love, especially when, life gets tough?
Well, the Course reminds us we're not in this alone. We have that inner guide, the Holy Spirit, always there, whispering guidance and support.
Right, the Holy Spirit, we touched on that earlier.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of like, okay. How do we actually connect with that inner wisdom, that voice of love? Is it meditation? Prayer?
It can be, but it's also about bringing that awareness into everything we do, pausing before reacting, noticing our thoughts or feelings without judgment, and asking, what would love do here? What would forgiveness look like in this situation?
So it's a constant practice,
Yeah,
checking in, being mindful.
exactly. And the more we do that, strengthen that muscle of love, practice forgiveness, the more we start experiencing those miracles, those shifts in how we see things. And those shifts bring us closer to that inner peace the Course talks about.
Which reminds me, there was this other principle from chapter 1 really stuck with me. Number 30. Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. What does that even mean, purification?
That's the nitty-gritty, the inner work. Letting go of those limiting beliefs, those fear-based thoughts that keep us separate from that love, that wholeness, that A Course in Miracles says is our true nature.
So it's not just about wishing for miracles or waiting for them to, magically appear. We have to do the work to clear out the stuff that's blocking them.
Yes, making space for them to happen. And that purification, it can look like a lot of things. Forgiveness, like we've been talking about, meditation, prayer, therapy, even being creative, anything that helps us reconnect with that true loving part of ourselves.
Like we're pulling weeds in a garden so the flowers can actually grow. It makes me think of that line from the workbook. This course is a beginning, not an end.
Yes, and that's so important. A Course in Miracles isn't some like magic formula or a finish line you cross. It's a journey. This process of waking up more and more. It's about opening ourselves up to seeing life through a different lens, one of love, forgiveness, and yes, miracles.
And that lens, that new way of seeing things, it's for everyone, right? It's not just for like saints or gurus or something.
Not at all. That's
Yeah.
one of the most beautiful things about A Course in Miracles. It says we all have that capacity for miracles. It's not about becoming someone else or reaching some super spiritual goal. It's about remembering who we already are. Beings of love, connected to something so much bigger than ourselves.
Reclaiming that wholeness that's already there, that capacity for love and forgiveness. That's powerful stuff, wouldn't you say?
It is, and so important, especially now. The world can feel so chaotic, so uncertain, but A Course in Miracles offers this path of hope, healing, transformation. It reminds us we have the power to choose love, to choose forgiveness, to choose to see the miracles that are always there, big and small.
So as we're, kind of wrapping up this part of our deep dive, what's the one thing you want people to take away? If they only remember one thing from today, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. I'd say remember that you have a choice. In every single moment, you have the power to choose love over fear, forgiveness over judgment, peace over chaos. You have the power to choose miracles.
They have the power to choose miracles.
That's
That's a good one to end on. You have the power to choose miracles. It's empowering, but kind of daunting too, right?
Yeah, I get it. It's a big responsibility. but a beautiful one. And it all comes back to that core idea, the nature of reality.
Hmm.
A Curse in Miracles asks us to question, like, everything we think we know about the world. What if love, not fear, is the real truth, the basis of it all?
Like someone handed us a whole new map. And suddenly, the territory is totally different. All these paths to joy, to peace, we never even knew were there.
Exactly. And the Course gives us what we need to navigate this new territory, how to see through the ego's illusions, forgive ourselves, forgive others, and tap into that wisdom of the Holy Spirit, that inner guide, always leading us back to love.
Speaking of the course, there's this part at the end of the workbook really got to me. It says, this course is a beginning, not an end. No more specific lessons are assigned, for there is no more need of them. Henceforth, hear but the voice for God.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. It's saying A Course in Miracles isn't some rigid thing, not a set of rules or a final destination. It's like an open door to this lifelong journey of waking up spiritually, guided by our own inner wisdom, that voice of love within us.
So it gives us the tools, the map, the compass. But then it's on us to go explore, to trust that inner guidance, to actually create a life that reflects, that love and peace we found inside.
Yes, it's taking those principles, forgiveness, love, that whole miracle mindset, and actually living them in our
Yep.
relationships or work, everything. Showing up with this new sense of purpose, this willingness to see the world and ourselves through that lens of love.
I love that. It's a good reminder, even with all the craziness in the world, we've got this power to choose love, to choose forgiveness, to choose miracles. And when we do that, we're not just changing our own lives,
Right.
we're adding to a more loving, more peaceful world for everybody.
Beautifully put. And the deeper we go with A Course in Miracles, we realize the journey is the destination. It's those moments, choosing love, offering forgiveness, seeing the miracle in the everyday. That's where we really come alive.
That's what I find so inspiring about it.
Yeah.
It's not just some philosophy, some ideas. It's a call to action. It's like step into your power, the power of love that's within you, and help create a world where miracles aren't rare, they're the norm.
Yes. And the best part is, we're not alone in this. We've got each other to lean on, to learn from, to support one another on this wild ride of waking up.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive on A Course in Miracles, I'll leave you with this. What if, today, we each pick just one thing from the Course and put it into practice? Choose forgiveness. Look for the miracle in the ordinary, or just listen to that quiet voice of love inside. Imagine the impact that could have.
Beautiful. And remember, no matter where you are on your journey, you are loved, you are worthy, and you are capable of experiencing miracles.
Couldn't agree more. Until next time, keep asking those questions, keep exploring, keep diving deep.